A very warm welcome to all of you, all the participants. This is the first webinar which our group India Hospitality has organized in collaboration with iLead. iLead is providing us technical support and the platform. Today we have we are very delighted to have amongst us Mr. Rajiv Patel. Rajiv, I knew for quite some time. He's a civil engineer and he has been in the real estate trade for quite some time. And then he became very passionate about heritage restoration, heritage uh, preservation after having participated in a heritage walk. And our major inspiration for both of us was Debashish Nayak. Debashish had done amazing work and he is one of the key players in getting Ahmedabad city as a World Heritage City. Now we have over 7,000 cities and towns in India which can all qualify to be listed as World Heritage City. Ancient cities like Varanasi, like Patliputra, they were not got as in the list of heritage city. Ahmedabad was the first city, and thereafter Jaipur has been listed as the World Heritage City. I think it is hard work and the spirit of enterprise of the people from Ahmedabad which has made it possible. And in this entire effort of creating enough reasons for getting this tag of Heritage City to Ahmedabad, partly also goes to Rajiv because Rajiv had been key player in not only preserving and converting the heritage properties in old Ahmedabad city, but made them sustainable, which is very, very important. Today in our participants, there are a lot of people who had their heritage properties in various parts of the country, mostly in Rajasthan, who are looking for ideas and tips, who would like to pick up Rajiv's brain to convert their properties, which are located in the various parts of the country, into a sustainable uh, proposition. Now we are having this problem of plenty. We have so many heritage properties, so many heritage, intangible heritage like food, like art and craft, like textiles, performing arts, folklores, and so on. And we really have to exploit and capitalize on these assets which we are blessed with in a manner so that uh, we can increase tourism potential of our country. And we have seen that tourism is the only solution for providing employment to our youth because uh, 1 rupee invested in tourism actually has much more impact in generating employment than any other thing. And heritage is the key word, and we should therefore they listen to Rajiv and see how he was able to convert these small properties into a economically viable model, which is the greatest challenge. So over to you, Rajiv. Uh, Please,
Yeah,
and I would like to say, any one of you, if you have any questions after Rajiv finishes his deliberation and presentation, please write on the chat box and I'll ask the questions to Rajiv and Rajiv will answer the questions. So please write while you are still listening, and if you want to have any question, please write on the chat box. And then after the presentation is over, I'll pose those questions to Rajiv to answer. Thank you. Rajiv, over to you.
thank you so much, Pradeep Bhai. And of course, you have also played an important role in helping us document and calling me to Murshidabad. Sometimes when you are treading on a difficult path or a challenging path, and people around you in your immediate environment don't know or cannot justify your actions, it happens surely that people far away, so when I came to Calcutta, a lot of people gave me indication that आपका direction सही है. So that was a great booster, and then the students coming to Ahmedabad and documenting those films really helped us a lot. So it's like connecting the dots. So I will share my screen over here. Okay, so I have a 10, 12 years of journey, and there are various things, but I would definitely love to give you a background about uh, what what happened in Ahmedabad, or what we did, and what are the various things that happened for us to take the decisions we took. So there was a very interesting decision making process, which also a lot of people wanted to know about. So I'm going to have two parts of the presentation. Before I come to the main part, which is about the profit from a standalone small heritage property. And if you understand that Ahmedabad, the walled city is a very big walled city compared to the lot of old cities of India. Uh, we have over 2,000 listed heritage properties. This is the new list. When the World Heritage nomination happened, the old list is 12,000 properties. It's a 5 square kilometer area. There is a drawing. I will share it. So Ahmedabad's journey is like a 20-year-old journey. The Ahmedabad, the AIMS in the Ford Foundation, starting from there and all the way to the French government. The very important thing happened in 1995. The French people came and they signed an MOU. And Devashish Naik, who is from Calcutta, so he came in. He played a very, very important role about getting all these forces together and a great understanding of how to work with the government, with the municipality, and to inspire the locals. So it's a very complex, the old city. So my work is in the urban heritage, which is the like it is the center of a 350 square kilometer metro now. So it's a very complex situation, and really to work in that, Devashish has done the pioneering work, and so I'm very thankful to Devashish. So this is the journey of Ahmedabad, and we came into the picture in 2007. So so we had an advantage of having this established ecosystem, and a lot of other people doing our work. So we were led to the heritage in 2007 by our architect, and we met Devashish. And then since then, we have a series of events. But we formed NGOs. We did an MOU with the municipal corporation. So there are various things which happened. Uh, so these are the various properties which we restored over the period of time. So the intense work started from 2000. When we acquired the property, we did the heritage work in 2007, but there was a gestation, because as a real estate developer, to buy a property is a very simple thing. But then to spend time into something which you think is not a business is the difficult part. So there was a gestation period. And before I begin my main presentation, I want to talk about few things as a disclaimer, that a lot of you people are in a particular situation where you're finding it difficult. So what I want to say is that if you're trying to walk on an uncharted path, then definitely you are going to face difficulty. And also, as I as this kind of projects, you have to do a thinking about the opportunity cost. But for us, like, it was that we really became passionate, and then we wanted to continue, because a lot of people want to do a lot of good things, but then there's an opportunity cost. About French Haveli or the properties which I'm talking about, I am not saying that we have reached a perfect solution, but we have kind of got a very good direction and an approach after the groundwork. As I talked about the advantage, we have that there is an ecosystem, and the decision making was based that it's a passion, or it's something which we want to make a difference or make a contribution. The fourth point is that, which is a very important thing, which we would recommend for such kind of projects, is that we had a very frugal approach. That means we did not, because it was an experimental project, we were very tight on keeping the cost low. And we did a lot of things on low cost or lower rates, and we did it ourselves. We could not pay very high fees to consultants. So, and we found that doing the thing was the joy. So I recommend to people who are trying to do this kind of projects, trying to find something which, it's like, which will want you to work and spend time in it. So this is the four things which I want to build my presentation on. So this is the first property which we bought in 2007 after Devashish Nayak recommended this property. It's a 300-year-old property. He was trying to raise fund from some Japanese foundation, but the Japanese foundation refused because the legal titles were not clear. So then we were there, and he recommended us, and we bought this property. And you can see the photographs. It's a wooden property, and how dilapidated this property is. So after this property, buying this property, it was there for 2 years, and then Debashish took us to Spain to see a cultural center, and that was creating a vision that what could be a cultural center inside a heritage property. So we started the work, and so then we started understanding the difficult situation, that there were no carpenters, there were no properly qualified. Nobody was willing to take an accountability that this is the exact amount of money and this is the exact amount of time. So that forced us to work on the ground, and then we started enjoying the work also. So ultimately what happened is that since we are civil engineers and we are in the construction trade, we started getting the know-how about it, and we started becoming experts also. So this is the process, and we continued, and the artisans came, and ultimately a lot of involvement. And then also a very important thing is that we visited a restoration exhibition in Italy. Again, Devashish had invited us. We have adopted the techniques, and ultimately the Divanji Haveli was ready. So this was a period of 3 to 4 years in which we did the first, but the action part was 2 years. In 2 years, we did the actual work. The other part was just making a decision. So this is the first project we completed by 2012. And then the question was that, okay, we had the money, we invested the money, but what about the economics? Because we were seeing that by that time, nobody is doing what we are doing. The local, they have no reason to, so it's that we are the only people who are doing this. So then the question was that, what could be return on this? Can we get like a rental return or something like a 8% return of our capital? So that was the question. But we are also said that we should make a cultural center. So then from 2013, for 1 year, I did a lot of studies and research. So I saw economic models like Amsterdam Old City has created a fund to restore so many properties. UK also has a similar fund. And then America is also doing things in the old city. So that again opened my vision. So then ultimately we formed a NGO, City Heritage Center. So we means me and my other 3 partners. We have a construction company in 2010. And this was the website, and we went and signed an MOU with the local municipal corporation, and we started our technical cell. And then we had a lot of thinking of a value chain of how the whole thing, old city, can be revived. And so right from creating awareness to scaling up old city. And Pradeep Bhai's iLead has shot a film about this, which is there on the YouTube. It's very nicely put about this whole process and our thought process. Media also was giving us a boost, so that also was building confidence that okay, we are doing something good. And then once we started the technical cell, then we started looking at which are the other properties we should restore. So since we are in the real estate field, we knew people who had money. So this is one property, one of our client in Africa who has an interest in art. So we approached him, and he bought this property, which was otherwise going to fall down or was going to be taken by some local developer and who would convert it into some ugly building. So that got restored, and so this is now again 2 rooms. We have over here 2 nice suite rooms, and it's coming on the Heritage Route Walk. So this property is also listed on Booking.com, Airbnb. You can have a look at it. Then the famous house of MG, which is there, he had some properties in the old city. So since we are the experts, we helped him restore this property. We also restored a property for the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. So by that time, I was like talking about that, okay, we should create business models. And so there were properties which are coming. So I was generating ideas. So I was telling that let us try to do some boutique hotel or homestay. So then the best thing was that why don't we do it ourselves, so to make it an example. So the opportunity of French Haveli came over that time. So we decided to again buy the French Haveli and restore it. And again, the French Haveli was restored. So in 2014, 2014, week before we are going to launch this project, I was called to Calcutta by Pradeep Bhai, and after I came back, the property got launched, and we got a very good response. And since then, the property is doing quite well, and we are number one on TripAdvisor in the homestay category, and Booking.com is also giving a good score. So this is just a 5 bedroom property. And then after this experience, we again went back to Divanjini Haveli and then did the second phase of the restoration. We added 3 rooms over here, um, with nice toilet. So the very important things which we are doing or which we learned, that is old buildings, they don't have good toilets. So if we want real tourists to come in, then we should have class toilets or a very nice toilet which are compared to the good hotels. So to insert the good utilities in a heritage property is a very important thing to the services, and also to do the intervention which are sensitive and keeps the charm of the old property. So that all we did. And the thing is that, since as I told you that it was a very frugal approach, we could not employ very high pay. I mean, we just did a lot of things on our own. So in-house team, and so we did the interiors and through a lot of local resources and ourselves, using the artisans. My wife, she joined us as a team, and she did all the interiors. So this whole cultural center came together, and this big hall is there where we have various events, all kind of programs, piano recitals and various things, exhibitions. So this is the culmination of the cultural center which Devashish had told. So this is a dinner, musical recital, exhibitions, salsa socials, film shooting. So we had uh, Bollywood, Salman Khan movies came and shot. So this was all a success story for us, and the vision of the cultural center got done. So now I want to come back again to the second part, where then we wanted to do a preset. So this is the Ahmedabad Old City. As I told you, it's a 5 square kilometer, and this red part is the Dhalni Bol, where Pradeep has visited. This is the French Haveli, and this is one area which we thought should be a showcase as a preset. So over here there was another property called Bagban, which we now had another investor buy this property, and now that is again we have 5 rooms over here. So it is how the situation was. So we created a vision that how to clean this place and create a stakeholdership and get other people. And so the idea which I was talking about is that in Italy there is a concept called albergo diffuso. Albergo is a hotel and diffuso is scattered. So a traditional hotel has all the rooms in one place, and in the Mediterranean villages, all the individual homes have some rooms, and some is the reception and some is the kitchen. So all the house owners are getting benefit of this, and there's a central management. So we saw this through internet, and we realized that maybe we could do something similar, all the scattered Havelis, and create a common management. So we started working on that vision. So this is a new property. So next to French Haveli, now in that particular cluster, we have now 15 rooms now over there. And then the other important thing which happened for Ahmedabad, which is actually one of the most important thing which has happened for the first time, is the tradable development right. So there is a tradable development right for slum. So any developer who redevelops the slum and makes it into a pakka home, then he gets a FSI which he can use it into new construction. So Ahmedabad by that time was talking about the TDR, and we pioneered this first 5-6 pilot cases, and the commissioner was active, and we got the TDR. And what happened because of this, all our capital investment came back to us. So that was a great thing for us to get an exit from the investment cost. And this is what we did as an NGO. We made the drawings and submission drawings, and then this is the TDR certificate over here. So this is the heritage tradable development rights, and this is the square meter. So the technicality is there, and that gets converted into FSI for the new building. So all these buildings, listed buildings, have a TDR, and so now 2,000 properties can be restored with a TDR. And it's not a lot of money, it depends on the size of the building, but it's still good enough for a lot of locals to stay back. And also, if the property is large, then you get a handsome amount of money, at least to cover some of the costs, or in some cases a lot of money comes. For example, Divanjini Haveli, because it's a large property, our TDR was quite big, and which helped us to cover the 100% amount of our investment. And so on 18th April 2016, World Heritage Day, we did a first TDR distribution ceremony, and this is our commissioner, our mayor, and they all came, and we distributed the TDR. So this was a really good thing, and it's a set a trend in the old city now, and where the locals and there's an ecosystem which is coming up where people should go and restore their own properties. So that is the first part of our background and how we have been working for the last 10 years. So now I want to come specifically to French Haveli. French Haveli is a 110 square meter property, and it is in the old city all the properties are juxtaposed, and this is how it looked, and this is how it is today. And it is a 110 square meter property with ground floor, first floor, and second floor. The old chalk, this is the central courtyard. So in the period of 150 years, various owners, 3 to 4 ownerships have changed, and they kind of have changed the thing. So the central courtyard is the soul of the property. So what we have done is that to understand the intervention, we have to understand the uniqueness of a property, identify what is unique about the property. So in every heritage property is different. So what is very important is to approach with a very clear vision that what could be the unique point of this property and how do we highlight this property. So these people have painted it, and there's actually a lot of wood. So we removed the paint, and we created the courtyard, which was actually they had covered from the top. We opened it and removed all the partitions and created the entire open space. There's a rainwater tanka over here, which was closed during the British time. They said a lot of the rainwater tankas were closed because they thought that the rebels are hiding the ammunition or the guns. So a lot of houses didn't have the tanka. So we restarted the rainwater tank, and now we are using it as the water reservoir, and that is supplying water to the entire house. Also over here, you see that this is a very important feature of the Havelis, which is called the Paniara, which is the water station. So which was not there. Somebody had changed it over a period of time. So we recreated it. So these are the important things which we did, and we got the character back of the Haveli. And also we were working with the vision that we have to succeed in this project, because we are investing and we have to make it a model. So we were really working very intensely that how we can make a best out of it. And again, as I told you, that our approach was very frugal. We made sure that our capital investment is limited, and we try to do best in low budget. So this is the new vision. Over here, this is the original layout. So in the olden times, if you see, there are no toilets in this old city and in this house also. So the important thing is to introduce the toilet. So over here, we created the toilet. And these are the red lines are the walls. So we have created a very interesting plan of creating the utilities. Now this house has 6 toilets. The plumbing and everything is done very, very nicely with the pressure systems. And there is no overhead tank. Everything is in the tanka, submerged. And we are creating a good pressure in the bathroom. The air condition, the electrification, the security system, everything is done so that the cables are not seen. And we have also not punctured the heritage walls. So this is the old layout, and this is the new layout. So we have created a nice kitchen, staff room is there, staff toilet is there, and then this whole. So it's a so now what I want to tell you over here is that as we were doing this adaptive reuse, we were also thinking a strategy of how we will position this property. See, we knew that there are 5-star hotels or there are luxury hotels in the town, and they have so many facilities. So we don't have those facilities, but we want to create the property such that it has its own charm. So what we positioned ourselves is that this becomes like a home experience. So that is what I'm going to talk about more. Let us see more about the plan. So the ground floor over here, then we go the toilets. So you see, this is the old toilet, and this is how we made. So we made it very, very attractive using the stucco and the texture materials, which is very local and rustic. So over here, this is the intervention of the toilets. And the old kitchen was no, so we created a nice kitchen with a character. So which makes it very, so it's a very contemporary and heritage, very nice mix of the characters over here. And the old workstation was like this, we made it more interesting. Similarly, on the front first floor again, so we created two toilets over here. There was a single toilet, and we created a toilet over here, and we divided this over here. So we have two single rooms over here, right? And a nice dining table. This dining table is a very interesting space because all the five rooms, three double rooms and two single rooms, the guests meet over here, and it's a very interesting concept because all the tourists from all over, somebody's a Japanese or somebody's a German, so they really like to meet and talk over here. So this is a very nice place for the tourist. This is how we have made the change of the walls. These are the rooms. So the single room. So each room we have found a unique thing, and we have created a unique experience. These rooms are very small, but they are very cozy. So that is what the experience about this properties. Small corners we have identified and made something out of it. So this was the old space, and we have made the same thing. See, if you see, the same table was there, but we just reused the things, and so we have used the same materials. All the wood has been reused, and we have tried to make the best out of whatever is there to keep our cost low. So this was the old toilet, and this is how the new toilet is. Also, the selection of the plumbing items. If you see, we have used the wall-mounted bathroom sanitary, and so that the maintenance, or if in case now after 5 years we want to replace this entire assembly, we can just make it new. So we have thought into all those kind of things also. We have used a lot of local artisans. This all painting and everything is by the locals. So that all we have used. So again, the top floor did not have any room, and there were no toilets. So we inserted two extra rooms. So the important thing is that a 100 square meter property, I mean 100 square meter area of the land, and now we have five rooms. So that investment versus the five rooms and the annual occupancy of 40% makes it into a nice small model which is managed by just two people. So I'm going to talk about that, how we approach the operation of this and to make it a cash flow positive from day one. So these are the top areas where there was no room. The ceiling was there and it was just a hall. So we made this into a suite room, and then the new toilet we inserted over here. So this was how the old thing was, and this is how the room is made. Then we made nice gazebos. This is how the old terrace was. There was no gazebos. So we changed the railings and inserted these pergolas and made it into. You can see this space how it was. Then we made this area again. Twin bed is there, so there was no toilet. We inserted the toilet over here, and and very nice, interesting balcony which is overlooking the community space, and all these stucco and everything has been done. So now we come to the operation part. Are there any questions till now, Pradeep bhai?
There are questions, but I think let's finish it. You finish your
Yeah.
presentation.
So now I have just completed about the intervention part. Now I want to just talk about the operation part.
Yeah, let's finish the operation part. Then all the questions are there in the chat box.
Okay.
Then I'll take the questions one after the other.
Okay. So now let us talk about the actual topic, which is the creating profit from a standalone property. So if you see, and this is just five rooms, and we have kept the tariff. So the total tariff is just 18,000 rupees for all the five rooms, 18 to 20,000 rupees for the five rooms. So see, the thing was that for us, it was very clear that we have to succeed to make this a showcase. It was not a business for us, but still, if I want to tell somebody that, okay, this is the capital investment, this is the restoration cost, and this is the room tariff, it should become some, for any business house, it should look like a business model. So what we realized is that since it was an experiment, we did not want to do any cash burn, in the sense that we don't want to wait for 1 year. So that was very clear for us that from day one, we should try to create a profit. So what we did is that we did not hire any white collar admin managers. So we have this Rajasthani trained people in the hotel industry. So we operate this property with just two people. And so the positioning we have done over here is that any guest, any tourist who come to this heritage property, once they walk in, to this property, then they don't meet anybody else except those two housekeepers. And for them, it is like walking into their own house. The person who's cleaning their room, the person who's making them their dinner or lunch, is the only person they're meeting. So they are set at ease. And also, our claim is such that we tell them that, okay, you are going to live in your own extended home and you're going to get a homely feeling. So that is the strategy which we created. And so nobody is meeting all. We have trained these two people to speak to them, to organize the things for them. And there is an established ecosystem of heritage rickshawalas who are doing heritage tours. There is an ecosystem of the guides. So all those things is already there. So these people also do the management for them. If you see the community, the property is right inside the main the pole, which is the cluster of these houses. So they have to be received from the main road. So that walk, which looks ultimately looks very difficult, but we made it very interesting, because then the locals, we created the relationship. So they, whenever the locals are there, they would see the tourists, so they would talk to them and then tell them idhar se aage jana hai. So that itself, whatever was looking difficult, we try to make it into an advantage. So now what is happening is that we have a very low cost approach, but we started getting the bookings, and we also decided not to try to push our bookings. See, we did not spend any, so it was a purely organic growth. We focused on the reviews. We focused on delivering, and we started building on our reviews on TripAdvisor, on booking.com. And we just waited because our costs were low, so we did not have to worry about getting more bookings. So slowly, so we in fact, from the first year we started hitting 25-30%, and by the second year we were crossing 40%. And also we are getting very interesting bookings from student groups or research groups. So that way we started getting the breakthrough from the first year itself. And so my existing office, we have just accounts and a person who's operating uh, the back office, and these two people there. So a staff of 2 to 3 people is just managing the whole thing. And then we started adding the other clusters. So that way become a very, very efficient and a low cost operation. Uh, also, also we decided that certain things which we like we created events over there, or we created associations with the for lunch for dinners, we would send them to other hotels, which we created a city tour. So whenever a tourist came for 2 to 3 days, we had a very nice itinerary. So the entire staying and the property, working, interacting with the community, and going in the rickshaw and everything became a very unique experience for this tourist. And we have no TV, only Wi-Fi is there. So all those things are there which people understand, the tourists understand, or only those tourists who know that they are there to experience the very local things. So we started getting those kind of tourists. So the Airbnb, so we are getting a lot of booking from calls and directly also from the website. And this is the summary of our total approach, that what is the investments we did in all the properties and the rooms we created, the revenue, and also we got the TDR from this. So this makes a whole nutshell, and what is possible for Ahmedabad if somebody. So we are interested more people like us start looking at this opportunity and want to invest in the old city, and we are showing them that okay, this is possible, and you can invest in the old city. And to finally sum up, now after 12 years, what we think is that we need to continue whatever we are doing. So we have NGOs. We are taking like-minded people from the city who have roots in the old city to invest and take them on the trust. Create a more stakeholdership. And this is the final thing in the last page which I'm showing, is that we have created an impact venture. So it's a private limited company, and this private limited company aims to provide this service which we did individually or as a construction company, as a joint resource. So all our experience, all our knowledge, we want to give it away to this company. and we want to create a group of say 50 people, and this 50 people essentially should be owning a Haveli in the old city. So a Haveli in Ahmedabad is like 1.52 crore rupees of investment. So we are looking for 50 people, and we this company all become directors, and this is the model which we have created. And we need the money as a cash flow because there is a TDR, and we are looking at a return on the capital. And so this is a business model which we are trying to construct, but it's an impact venture. So we help the people become owners of the properties, and also then ultimately there, if there is a scale, then we are looking that once we have more rooms, then a professional management company can also come in and take care of the whole thing for a long term. So this is a long term vision which we are now wanting to go ahead and take this along. So that's it. This is my final slide, Pradeep bhai. I can stop here and we can talk about questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Rajiv. It was an excellent, very exhaustive presentation. Uh, Before I start asking you questions uh, from the participants, let me ask you the first question from the builder's perspective.
Mhm.
Uh, can you tell us what percentage of the investment in the Havelis is recovered on an average by the sale of TDR?
So, see, I'll tell you, the TDR is calculated on the built-up area. To be precise, I'll tell you how the I'll go to that slide so I can be more precise. So basically, the TDR is calculated on the built-up area. So if I take a small property like French Haveli, it is 100 square meter plot, and the built-up is 3 floors, so 300 square meter, and then they have done a grading 1, 2, and 3. And based on the grading, if it's a grade 1 property, then the 50% becomes a tradable. So 150 square meters get traded. And then the receiver is the person on the new town, and there is a conversion ratio based on the Jantri value, which is Jantri is the basically the land value on which you do the documentation. So it depends, but I'll tell you that the TDR could fetch you back the base value of the base value of the property you buy, the property which you don't restore, but basic at least you would get back the money of the basic property. Then the restoration cost
Is
is
the extra? So that means the purchase price of the property is recovered
hmm.
by sale of TDR. So I get the property almost free.
Yeah, or I can say it otherwise, if the restoration cost is generally double the price of the property, so that means you 50% for restoration cost is free. That is what you could look at. Divanji Haveli, we were lucky because the Divanji Haveli on the small land, the construction was more, so our TDR was more. So we got like almost 100% of the restoration and the property cost, everything came back to us. So we are lucky in that.
Yeah, that's very, very attractive. I think it's a quite attractive. We love to have it in Calcutta.
So actually, this is one thing which we all need to come together, and because there are thousands of such kind of small centers which are surrounded by the new real estate demand. Devashish was saying in one of his presentation that there are 7,000 such kind of centers, like Ahmedabad Old City, and the new towns are developing, and there is a need for. So if the government makes this a national policy, it should become a very important thing. So I think this is one thing which we should do something about. Not only Ahmedabad, all the cities should have this.
Okay, so I have Mukul wanted to ask a question. Mukul is the president of Calcutta Heritage Collective and also an architect. She wanted to ask a question about the toilets. How she? So Mukul, will you go ahead and ask the question?
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Patel.
Okay.
Very nice presentation.
Thank you
I
so much.
really enjoyed it. Inspiring too. And yeah, so my one major problem that we face here in restoration is that attached toilets are required, right?
Hmm.
For each bedroom now, if you
That's
want
right.
to convert it into a hotel or a boutique hotel or anything, that becomes a problem. So how do you manage the plumbing issues, etc. Where you need to hide the
Yeah,
pipes,
yeah.
etc.
So yeah, so I mean, each Haveli is unique and each Haveli has a different layout. So if
Yeah,
can you see this drawing over here?
I can.
Yeah. So over here, what we have done is we have done stacking. So this toilet block, like apartments, you need to have the toilets on. The best is if you could stack the toilets like the first floor, second floor, top floor. So that is what we have tried to do. Also, we have tried to locate the toilet towards the periphery, so the drainage and everything.
Which drawing are you talking about? This is,
Okay, so I was here. This is where I was trying to say. Can you see this?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So now this is the original measure drawing. Once you have a heritage property, you just do a basic drawing of that. So over here in this part where we have written toilet, you see over here.
Yes.
So we have what we have done is we have stacked the toilets over here, and we have done open plumbing in the particular section, which the pipes and everything have been painted in a very nice way, and
Okay.
yeah, and we have used a pressure pump which is there in the open chalk over here, and there is a underground tanka. It's called a rainwater harvesting over here. You can see this over here. So the plumb this is a there's an
Yes.
entire tank under this floor which is around
Mm-hmm.
15,000 liter. The olden times, all the Havelis have this rainwater harvesting tank
Mm-hmm.
where the rainwater is getting filled over here. And then
Mm-hmm.
underneath in that we have immersed the pressure pumps, and the water is pressurized to the entire bathroom circuit. Okay.
Okay.
So as I told you that what we have done is that we have used Hindware, we have used Jaguar, but we have selected those kind of faucets and everything where we don't have to puncture the walls. So that is a very important thing to be done. And over here in this bathroom, if you see, so there are corners like this over here. So this is the old bathroom. So there are corners over where we have kept open plumbing. Okay, and minimum chipping of the walls. So that is what we have
Okay.
done. Now this is the first floor, and then if you go to the second floor, then if you see the bathrooms are at the same place.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that is what.
But then here, because you have only one bedroom, you are being able to do this. Now,
No,
if a floor had three bedrooms and the
yeah, yeah.
toilet is only in one area,
So this is one bedroom over here. There is this
yeah,
toilet over here.
yeah,
Then you go on the other floor over here. So that is a bathroom. This is the second floor. So this is another big the bathroom over here, and this is another bedroom and the bathroom over here. So in a way, you see, we have this three. This all are attached bathrooms. Okay.
yeah. Okay.
So you see, this is the attached bathroom. This is the attached bathroom.
Okay.
So in case you have any, I mean, I could, if you could send me some sketch, then we could try to scribble few things and share some
All
ideas
right.
of them. Yeah.
All right. All
Okay.
right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So basically, the trick is using exposed pipes. I think that's what the
Yeah.
trick
Yeah.
is over
And
here.
try, and yeah, and try to keep the minimum distances of the running. So we can talk
Yes.
about it in more details.
Yeah. Later.
Definitely, we
Yeah,
can
if
share
required.
drawings also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Another question
Sure.
was then if TDR is such a good option to be
Mhm.
used for all these issues, why are some state corporations so kind of they are resisting everybody everywhere it's not being used. In West Bengal also we have a problem.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
been discussed all the time for many years, but it's just
Do
not
we do we
happening.
have
Why?
do we have slum TDR policy in West Bengal?
No, we don't have.
None at all. Yeah.
And
That,
the
that
Ahmedabad, the Gujarat, the slum redevelopment policy is really doing so well in the last 8-9 years, and literally thousands of houses have been rebuilt in the slum redevelopment policy.
So Maharashtra has it, Gujarat has it, but West Bengal we don't have it.
yeah,
So
but
at least for the TDR, if for the heritage TDR, I think it has a huge impact because we can tell the government that it is a very important mechanism which can really save the old city clusters from getting erased. Because
True.
against the market forces, we cannot do anything. If see there is no incentive, then those house owners ultimately are getting succumbed to the pressures. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
we could do something about it jointly.
Hmm.
Rajiv,
Okay. Thank you.
the
Thank
Raf
you.
talk, ask a question. Sarabji, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Has a big Haveli in Mukundgarh, Rajasthan.
Okay. Wow.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I can hear.
So you already mentioned the question, Pradeep ji. I would like to know from Rajiv whether he would like to help in restoring Havelis in Rajasthan.
He's-
So we are very interested in sharing our experience and knowledge, whatever we have learned, and we feel that whatever we have done in Ahmedabad, we need to give it away as a knowledge and experience to people, and we have created structures for this. So one structure is an NGO where we want to work, and the other is this impact venture, which we think. So definitely we would be interested to help you and share experiences, but our approach is not like a pure business. It's so we want to build the capacity and help the. So if you have some local guys who are there, so we could call them over. So we could work out something where we want more people to kind of get induced in the system, and they could take it up. So that is definitely will be interested to work in that fashion.
So as soon as this pandemic is over,
Yeah.
I would like to invite you,
Sure.
take you along with me.
Where
I
is
am living in
where-
Mumbai. I am
Okay.
living in Mumbai.
Okay.
And for me also, this is not a business proposal.
Yes.
It is only retaining our family legacy
Perfect.
and whatever remains, or what we have now in our
Absolutely.
native place. So I have already shared a video with
Okay.
Pradeep ji,
Mhm.
and maybe he could share that video with you, and you
Okay.
can have a look at what we've got, and then we could take it forward from there.
Sure.
But we certainly need an expert advice on how
Yes.
to go about it.
Definitely, we'll be glad to share our experience. And as I told you that we really want to. So we did help somebody near around 100 kilometers from here. Some African family who had migrated before 100 years in a local town called Kapadwanj. So the same approach. They wanted to preserve their ancestral property. So we work with the local architects, local contractors. So now we build a capacity in that town. So now more people can take those people's help. That is the approach we want to do.
So Rajiv ji, finally, let me tell you one very interesting fact. I lived in Ahmedabad for almost 18 years
Wow.
of my early life, and I did all my schooling in Ahmedabad St. Xavier School.
Loyola?
And I have great memories, and I could identify some of the areas that you showed on the screen. So
Okay.
it was very interesting.
So you
Thank you very much for it.
Other people who are asking question. We have now Sanjay Dugard from Murshidabad. He has got Katgola Palace. Sanjay, are you there? You can ask the question to Rajiv directly.
Yeah, Rajiv bhai, thank you for this presentation, and it's very useful for us, people like us who are having some kind of a, heritage buildings and are interested in developing it. I
Sure.
hope everybody is hearing me out.
Yeah, we can hear. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
okay. Fine. Now, as we are also inspired by looking at your presentation, and we are thrilled to really see that you have been doing such a great job. And that also inspires me to do something for my, heritage family buildings and other things, which are already commercial. We have already made it into a kind of a day museum wherein more than 6 lakh people come in. And we have been restoring it for last 20 years and successfully generating business for us and the local community there also. But now we want to go in for residential complex, and we do have a building for it, but it is in such a depleted state. I do not know where to start or where to end. So how can you guide us how to take it forward, how to restore the entire place?
Yeah, sure.
And what are the plans, and how do we develop it, the cost, and all the commercial aspects of it?
Yeah.
If you can kindly advise
Yeah,
me.
sure. So I think there is a Murshidabad trust or some association.
Heritage Development Society.
Yeah. And I'm also a member of it. I became a member when I was there. So definitely that association as a collectively we can discuss how this, we could from Ahmedabad, how we could support you. And definitely there is, because there is so much of knowledge and experience with so many people. I'm sure whatever you want to do, only thing is that we have to understand that what could be the commercial takeaway for you. Accordingly, we could make a plan for the same thing. You know, how you may plan to invest, and what is your expectation. All those things we can discuss and understand more. But as far as the methods are concerned, I'm sure there is so much of resources everywhere. So it's absolutely doable.
Fine. I would like to clarify here that see, this is not a business plan for me. I have put it on a very,
Exactly. That's what I
inaccurately.
want to
I
understand.
beg
Yeah.
your pardon for that. What I mean to say is that we are already, the prime focus is on maintaining the heritage created by our forefathers, and to
Right.
make it self-sufficient so that we do not have to bother in putting in funds day in day out, or really
That.
being bothered about it. So let it become self-sufficient. We already are in working. We have already worked in this model and with great success. So we have surplus fund. What we do is we deploy the funds which we create over the entire year, because we have a good tourism business coming in, and
Yeah.
that is redeployed for recreating a new site. So that's how we want to do. So we may have a reasonable amount of money available with us, which can be deployed on month-to-month basis, but no commercial angle as such that it is necessary for me to earn income out of that. The
Yeah,
main purpose is
I appreciate that. And so
yeah,
that's what I said, that so there are two parts of it. One is the actual intervention in the building, and the what kind of interventions you want to do, and what you want to create, and the techniques or the consultancy for that you want. So what is the best way to do it? And the other is our experience of how this kind of properties could be sustained through what kind of activities. So definitely we could have a look at your plans and something, and we can have more discussion. Pradeep can mediate us, and we can be together in that. Yeah.
sure. Okay, sure.
Okay.
Let the pandemic be over, and then we would be really. It will be very. It will be absolutely brilliant to have you with us and advise you.
Sure.
Get your advice rather.
Sure.
So then, thank you so much. Thanks. I think it was all of us will agree that it was an amazing and very informative and experience for all of us. Thanks for finding time and sharing your success story and your experiences while developing this heritage property. And let me tell you, all the participants, I was really impressed when I went there, and he has actually developed several heritage property. We have a challenge of developing one, and I don't know how Rajiv managed it, and he has made all of them very sustainable, which is the biggest challenge. And as he says that he did it very frugally, very innovatively, very creatively, using not very expensive methods, but very cost effective methods. And that's, I think, is the same thing I heard from Amarnathji when he was restoring 40 palaces and forts. And also I heard from other restorers and renovators of heritage property. That's the key word. Actually, we cannot spend a lot of money in restoration, because that money otherwise will be very difficult to recover. And because,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
we have to constantly be on the focused on the cost control. Only then this sustainability can come. I
Exactly.
think Rajiv is agreeing with me. So thank you once again, Rajiv, for sharing. And any final comment you want to say before leaving? Please
Yeah.
conclude.
So Pradeep bhai, we are very interested that we whatever we have learned from Ahmedabad, we should share to more people. So let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll, once the pandemic is over, then we'll start. Physical movement is possible. Then maybe
Sure.
I take you to some of the properties. In fact, my family also has some properties in Bikaner, so we can also look at those properties.
Yeah.
Let's see what we can do with them. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you all the participants for being there, and making this event first event of uh, India hospitality very successful. Uh, Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.